Hello again. I'm sorry some people got so ratty when I removed the video I made about the Kalergi plan. YouTube had lately sent me a warning and removed a video which I posted in September, the one about Birmingham Medical School lowering its entry qualifications so that they could increase diversity. YouTube said that that counted as hate speech, and I've been warned that I'll be in difficulty if they catch anything of the sort again. Someone who knows about these things suggested one or two other videos I might like to remove as well, to be on the safe side. He also said it's best not to have a video up called the Kalergi Plan when YouTube have you in their sights, for which reason I removed it. I know how disappointing it is to be deprived of the opportunity to hear me talk about such things, so I hope that this video will more than make up for it. I've been asked several times to talk about the protocols of the Elders of Zion. Modern ideas about supposedly cunning Jewish schemes to control the world are a great deal to the protocols, so this might be a worthwhile exercise. The famous Kalergi plan is a modern iteration, and it goes hand in hand with stuff about the Talmud, to which I'll have to devote a separate video, I think. Anybody fretting about Jewish control of newspapers and televisions is, wittingly or otherwise, reflecting anxieties voiced in the protocols of the Elders of Zion. Properly to understand them, the protocols that is, you need to know something about the French Emperor, Napoleon III, who ruled France in the 19th century, first as president and later as emperor for over 20 years. He was a great one for controlling every aspect of the French country. He wanted control of newspapers, the banks, the economy. We would call it today micromanaging. As a result, he wasn't entirely popular with some liberal and progressive people in France at that time. Some writers took to criticising him, and he really didn't like it. Victor Hugo, author of Les Miserables, spent many years in exile because of his opposition to Napoleon III's regime. One writer hit upon a very ingenious idea for criticising the emperor. This was Maurice Joly. He wrote a satire called A Dialogue in Hell between Machiavelli and Montesquieu. I provide a link to the online version of this book in the description to the video. It was published in 1864. Joly accused the emperor of wanting to control the press, financial institutions and every other aspect of life, political, commercial and sometimes private. I sense viewers grow rather restless at this point. I've promised to talk about the protocols of the Elders of Zion, and all I can do is drone on about something that happened 40 or 50 years before they were published. Okay, the protocols tell us how the Jews are going to take over the world and run all the media, control the banks and so on. Yeah? Those who, like me, have had the misfortune to read the protocols of the Elders of Zion would have noticed something very curious about them. At a couple of points, the Hindu god Vishnu is mentioned and used as a simile for the actions of the Jews who have their hands in every aspect of our lives. For example, we read of the alleged secret government the following: our government will resemble the Hindu god Vishnu. Each of our 100 hands will hold one spring of the social machinery of state. Gosh, that's scary. I invite readers now to click on the link I provide to the Project Gutenberg online copy of the book Dialogue in Hell between Machiavelli and Montesquieu. Then click on Google Translate so it changes from French to English. Now, I'm sure most people here know how to search for particular words in a document like that. If you don't, just press Control and F simultaneously, and that will bring up a box you can search for words. Type in the following: Wishnou, which is the French version, or was the French version at that time, of the Hindu god Vishnu. Yeah? You will find the following: I now understand the apologue of the god Vishnu. You have 100 arms like the Indian idol, and each of your fingers touches a spring. Weird or what? It's almost as though the author of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion had copied what Joly wrote. Here's the Protocols again, comparing the Jewish control of the newspapers with Vishnu's 100 hands. These newspapers, like the Indian god Vishnu, will be possessed of hundreds of hands, each of which will be feeling the pulse of varying public opinion. And here is Joly's satire. Like the god Vishnu, my press will have 100 arms, and these arms will join hands with all the shades of opinion, whatever, over the entire surface of the country. This is so uncannily similar to what the Protocols say about the Jewish control of the media, and yet it has been copied from an attack on the Emperor Napoleon, whom some thought wanted to muzzle and control the press. You see what's happened here, obviously. Joly's dialogue was published in 1864, 40 years before the Protocols of the Elders of Zion first appeared in Russia, and yet exactly the same figures are used in both. I must ask those who are firm believers in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion and their authenticity, if it's a genuine account of the machinations of world Jewry, what do they think the chances are that those people plotting world domination through the media should coincidentally have begun quoting from a political satire published 40 years earlier, and that they both used a comparison with the god Vishnu, coincidentally? Chances are a little slender, I fancy. About 10% of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion is directly copied from Joly's book, including all the stuff about how the banks are controlled, the economy manipulated, and interest rates rigged. In fact, the meat of the book comes from the dialogue between Machiavelli and Montesquieu. Even the same structure is used. The dialogues are arranged in the same way as the Protocols. This is not the only source, of course. There's large chunks of Theodor Herzl's Judenstadt as well. I'm not going to direct traffic to them, but there are sites which publish the Protocols of the Elders of Zion online. I suggest that anybody interested in this subject read Joly's dialogue in Hell between Machiavelli and Montesquieu, and also glances through the Judenstadt. Then read the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Case closed, I think. There's hardly anything original in the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. It has all been copied from other works. I suppose that those powerful Jews might not have been able to come up themselves with a plan for world domination, and had to fall back on stuff written about Napoleon III and so on, an early 20th century version of cut and paste. But if they can't even devise their own plan to take over us, I don't think we really have that much to worry about.